So how do you create a brand that truly represents who you are and the products you sell, as well as building a business that you can scale online? That is what this podcast will help you do. My name is Henry Kaminski Jr., and welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast.
Let me just make this statement loud and clear. Surgeon's here, surgeon's here. 1, 2, 3, go!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor Podcast episode. Today, we are going to be talking about giving more than you receive and how that has transformed my guest's life and has made him into the visionary entrepreneur that he is today. I am so excited to have this gentleman on the show today. We met on Clubhouse a couple of weeks ago inside of this abundance room that we do every morning at 7:10 a.m. in the morning during the week and then 8:10 in the morning on the weekends. And he has brought so much joy, so much wisdom, so much knowledge to the group every single day. And he's on the West Coast. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning and this guy shows up every freaking day without doubt. And he just pours in. And I remember Nick, the guy who started the group, he said, Henry, you gotta connect with this guy. You gotta have him on the show. And so finally we got the time to get it in. So without further ado, I want to introduce my man, Zain Jeewanjee, to the show. What is going on, Zain?
Henry, I just love you. I love you. We met literally, 6 weeks ago? That too, 6 or 7 weeks ago.
It went by fast. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
It feels like 7 days.
Yeah. And what's funny is you meet people in your life as you course through your life, and there's some that just hit you. And Henry, the first day you came on, I said, this guy is something I've got to get. So it's funny. I really wanted to get to know you. I said, this guy has got so much energy. I said, I thought I had all the energy in the world. Where did this guy get his energy? So, hello, everyone. I hope you're all following Henry's podcast and continue to do that. Some of my friends are coming on. This guy is amazing. You should follow all his podcasts.
Oh, Zain, listen, you're making me blush over here. Relax. So let's get in. Like I mentioned off, backstage, I wanted you to sort of set the tone for today's episode and tell us a little bit about your backstory, because it's so amazing. You grew up in Pakistan and you built such a beautiful empire, a beautiful family, and it wasn't always easy for you. And I want to highlight some of that stuff today because it inspired me personally, and I know it's going to touch a lot of hearts today. So give us a little bit of a backstory of where you started and how you got to where you're at today. Just amazing.
So my story is nothing but fortunes of luck and being on the right place at the right time. I always tell people, I think God has discriminated in my favor since I was born. It's amazing how everything happens at the right place at the right time for me. I was born in East Africa, in Kenya, when my grandfather had migrated or run away from his father in the 1850s. It built up an empire there. He was the Union Pacific guy of Africa. He laid all the railroad. If you ever go to Nairobi today, he built a garden there, a park for all Kenyans, because previously in the 1800s there were parks for whites and and blacks and Asians couldn't have parks. So he put the primus land, bought it, and said donated to Kenya, Nairobi city, and all Kenyans. So that's where I get my my civil rights blood, and I'm always for the underdog. And then I moved to Pakistan, and then right place, right time. I went to a school called Grammar School. It was one of, in 120 million population at that time, 30 of the brightest kids would go to this school, which was a Cambridge affiliated school. And in my class was Murtaza Bhutto, who was Benazir Bhutto's brother, the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Asif Zardari, the President of Pakistan, was in my class. And some of the most brilliant people that I've come and made friends over the years. So, that's being in the right place at the right time. I mean, you were 4 or 5 years old and you end up 6 years old and you make a circle of influence from there. Then in 71, Pakistan had a war with India, and the new government came in, which is Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, my classmate's father. And what he did is he nationalized all the industries in Pakistan. So many people became broke, because he took away banking, insurance, and everything. He just nationalized everything. In 1970, I would have been 16 years old. I just graduated from O levels, and I decided I'm going to I decided I'm just going to open up a fashion clothing store. So if you'll see, as I unbuckle my shirt here, this is a very unique design of a Nehru cut jacket that you may have seen, but it's my own design. I designed it myself. Wow. And that's what I started doing in 1971. At age 16, I was a fashion designer, and there was no ready-made clothing in Pakistan. Nobody had thought of it. And I said, I'm going to do it. And I opened up a store. I was 16 years old. By the age of 23, I was a household name. Every girl in town wanted to date me. Everybody wanted to talk to me. All the newspapers wrote about me. I was the happening thing in Pakistan. And, and I started an industry. But then I got married to my current wife, Farzana, and she's a darling. She's a rock. It gives me everything, all the strength I need in my life. And I got married to her. I had my first child born, Misbah, and my daughter passed away at the age of 6 months because she had some recessive genes in the back of a spinal cord which deteriorated after birth. Then my mother got some knee injury, and the idiots at the hospital overdosed her and killed her. Next thing I know, fast forward another 9 months, and my father, who used to smoke a lot, and died of emphysema. And then my third child is born in 1983. And the doctors diagnosed Ali, my son, to have the same problem that my first child did. So we were resourceful, had all the money in the world at that time. So we flew him to San Francisco to the world's best renowned say on that ailment for treatment. He passed away, Ali, after 6 months, and he's buried here in Los Gatos, California, in Silicon Valley. And I landed up in a brand new country. And I used to work 21 hours a day because I'd have to work at the gas station all night. Being not legal to work, I was legal to enter the country, but not legal to work. And then odd jobs, doing other stuff or anything, Macy's and Nordstrom, till they'd find out that I'm not legal to work, and I'd go to the next job. And my son died, and I was left with about almost, I think, $100,000 in medical bills. In 1983, that was a lot of money. You could have bought the Google campus out there for $100,000. And I then decided to open up the first insurance company that would cover foreign nationals like myself who would come into the U.S. There was no medical insurance cover visitors. And that was my first company in the U.S. So my second invention, the first one at age 16, this at 23. And then, being in the right place at the right time. And there's an article somewhere in Forbes, or I know in CNN, they talk about how I ingenuinely thought of this product, the Silicon Valley. It's all freaking lies. I had no clue that the Silicon Valley is going to have all these foreign nationals. I just built the product because I thought there was a need I had, and there would be some other people. But it was true. The Silicon Valley exploded. All these foreign nationals came in. The companies would insure them and not their other spouses who wouldn't have a social security number. And I had to create a product out of a cubicle hole. And that's the next thing. And then in 1999, all my friends in the Silicon Valley that were South Asians were making billions of dollars opening this thing called .com. And I said, I'm an insurance guy. What do I do? So my ego drove me. I said, I've got to do something so I can stand up equal to them. And so I created the first online policy in 1991, the first in the world. So there was no insurance policy ever sold online. Mine was the first one, aggregator. So we aggregated a whole bunch of stuff in 1999, which is about 22 years ago. And then Obama tried it. I don't know if you know this guy, Obama. Have you heard of him? Barack Obama?
I think
he tried
so.
it. Yeah. I think he tried it in 2014. His site failed for 1 month. Mine didn't. Mine worked. So, no, great guy. He did a lot for this country in medical insurance. In 2007, 2005, we created another online policy. And I was just creating things. So all I love to do is, if it can't be done, and everybody says it can't be done, I go ahead and do it. You know why? Because, Henry, if you fail when nobody could do it, then you didn't fail, right? But if you succeed, you're the only one who did it. And I've always tried things that nobody else can do it. I just have fun doing it. I'm in the stage of my life. I've got three beautiful kids who run companies in their own shape, and they're masters. I've got a lovely wife. I live a simple life, and I'm in the game of giving now, helping other people and just giving away. I sit on several boards, including the board of advisory for Rand Corporation, where in the South Asian, I try to do a lot of, if I can help in any ways. I'm very connected, so I share my connections in the world. I'm here to help.
Oh my gosh. I have so many more questions for you, Zain. Like I mentioned offline, I handpicked these for you because I've gotten a chance to know you over the past few weeks. And I said, this is going to light up this conversation to no end. So we're going to get into those questions right after this quick little message. If you're a business owner who feels your branding isn't truly representing the value that you deliver, check out this free video training that will help you level up your brand's messaging and online presence so that you can start attracting higher quality clients. Visit www.uniquedesignz with a Z at the end, not an S, .net/level up my branding. All right, so let's get into it, guys. And I know that there's a few people watching live as we record this. So if you have any questions for myself or Zain, please drop them in the comments and we will highlight them, feature you, and we'll make this more of an interactive experience as we continue. So question number one, Zain, is this. How do you generate new ideas?
I think what I do is, being 5'4" and ugly like shit, what you have to do is do what Henry can't do. So I always look for things that are not working or not working as good as I want them. So the way I invent things is, if I'm sitting here and rocking in this chair, right? Oh, and it just happened. Look, this hit the metal here, right? This metal chair hit the metal. Now I'm going to figure out and say, how can I get rid of that? So that when I swing, I can swing all the way around without it hitting the metal. And it starts from there. But I stay in what I know. So I know insurance in and out. So I would think, in the US today, there would be probably not more than 24 people that would know Insuretech, insurance in all categories, matching with me. Not more than maybe a dozen even. So if I know that space, and I'm good at that, I stay at my space and then look at issues and problems and how can I make it easier? What can I create?
Got it. So you're staying in your lane.
Yeah. You stay in your lane.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Question number two. What has been your most satisfying moment in business?
Oh, that's a tough one because I get highs almost every day. And I'm such an optimist that even a lose may be a high for me. That's a tough one. And it'll change, by the time we do this interview. I wish you'd given me these questions and cheat sheet and I would have prepared. But I'll tell you my highs. I'll tell you a couple. When we, I think when I met, my meeting with Warren Buffett, and how it was accidentally, he's looking for us and searching us out. That would have been a high. I think my first high would have to be when I sold when we first launched the online policy and it worked. It had never been done in the world. And everybody told me you cannot do it. I got the carriers to do it. I got everybody that. And my first, there's so many highs. I'm trying to look back in this. Oh yes, my first fashion show. That was a high. That was a real high. I was 15 years old. I designed everything, and these are bell bottoms, that were this big, dungarees, and these models, these girls coming out, these guys coming out with all these dressy, wild things. Now remember, this is Karachi, Pakistan. This is not Madison, this is not New York or France, right? This is not Paris. This is Karachi. That was my high. I walked in, and then all the models walked out with me in the front, and that was a high. I did it. I think that was my first win in business.
Wow.
I think so.
I could see you marching out there. You got the models behind you. Oh man, I could totally see it. I could totally see it. So we have a question from Khadijah that I want to feature here.
Okay.
The question is, how do you remain motivated and not lose the drive over time if you don't see results? It's a great question.
So you never look at the cup. You chase the finish line. You never look at the cup. What happens is when we motivate ourselves to the cup, we think of how much money did I end up making at this. You look at the finish line. Now, when you're running in the finish line, and I was, I had taken a double promotion in school, and I got to a class where the boxing tournament was on, and I joined the boxing tournament. And the guy, I was in the preliminary rounds. The guy didn't show up to battle with me, so I got promoted to quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, the guy didn't show up, so I got to the final. And in the final, the real guy showed up, and he punched the shit out of me. And I was Muhammad Ali, rope and dope, trying to hide my face everywhere. But you know what? I got to the end. I got to the final. It didn't matter if I won. I remember my aunt, who lives now in Houston, she tells me she was crying. Why doesn't the ref stop this kid being beaten to shit? But that's what keeps me motivated all the time. I must get to the end. I must get to the, and if I drop down, I'll run again. And I tell, I've got a grandson, and he fell down last week somewhere. And I told him, I said, hey, every time you fall down, get up forward. Don't get up with your back. Get up forward, because when you fell down, you got till there. Now you just got to get a little more. So that keeps you motivated all the time. And new visionary ideas. I always think of something that never been done. Keep doing what everybody else can be done.
Oh man, I love it. It's funny. I do that with my son. He's 3.5, and this kid loves to run and look behind him as he runs forward. It's just a habit of his, and he's always crashing into things. He's getting better, but when he takes a dump, it's no, oh, are you okay? It doesn't come to me to say that. You know what I say? Up.
What do you say?
Up. That's what I say.
Wow.
Up. I don't show any emotion, because they're waiting for you to react, right? Especially at that age. They want to know, they want to see how you react so that they can react accordingly, right? I show no emotion. I just go up, and it sounds very drill sergeant, like a drill sergeant, and like very unemotional. But I show my son a lot of affection and a lot of emotion. But when it comes to that stuff, I'm teaching him to, when you fall, you get up and you go. So I love that. I love that. Okay, I have another question here. What's one skill or trait do you feel is imperative to be successful?
Belief. Belief in yourself, belief in the people around you, and believe in some sort of God or scripture or somebody that will bail you out when everything fails. Because let's say if there's a fire around here, right? And I didn't have belief that I could make it. At least if I have belief in God, I'll be burning to hell, but hey, I'll feel good about it. I'm going to heaven. So you must have belief. You must believe in your dream. You must have belief in the people around you. And you must always believe in some sort of scripture, that there is somebody out there that will give me the reward and credit for this year or year after. What a beautiful phenomenon. Just think of it. If I worked all day and night for something and didn't get the finish line, how will I keep myself motivated? Well, I say, oh, well, I'll get it in heaven. There may be no heaven, but just the very fact that I believe that there's a heaven. So I'll keep doing good and get the reward. So you must have belief. That's the one thing you must have always in anything you do in life. Believe in yourself. Believe, and don't let, the more people tell you can't be done, remember, then you can't fail. You haven't failed. So let those guys tell you it can't be done. It can't be done. And just go like this. I'll see you up there. I'll see you up there. Who cares?
Your energy is so contagious. I'm telling you. I thought and you said this to me, but I'm telling you now, I thought I had a lot of energy. And you are something else. I cannot wait for you to come and visit New York City and visit me and Nick, because we are going to have a blast.
We'll have a blast.
We are going to have a blast. And if we come out to Silicon Valley, we are ready. We are going to be ready. Okay, my next question is, well, I'm gonna skip that one because you kind of talked about that one already. So no rhyme or reason to these questions. I like to keep them super random. Okay. What's the one common reason for people failing or giving up?
So it's I've never failed. I've always learned. So I don't see failures ever. If I've not completed something, it just is put off for another time, first of all. And I don't let anybody tell me. I keep doing it until you succeed, right? I think people give up because circumstances, environments, people around them, resources, they're different reasons. They haven't been mentally tuned and been brought up the way that everyone is. Your life is different. My life is different. My son's life is different. My daughter's life is different. My mother's life is different. Everybody's individually programmed. So it depends how your chip has been programmed. My chip has been programmed as you never fail. You just keep trying it. You just haven't completed what you have. Now, it's not to say that I haven't failed, meaning I haven't completed. There are lots of things I'd want to do. Like I'd like to see, I'd like to see the world without guns. I don't think there should be any guns ever sold on any toy stores, because it's not a toy. I don't mind it being sold outside, but I don't want toys as gun stores. So if I go into Toys R Us, which doesn't exist anymore, or if I go online, there should be a gun for my 3-year-old. I don't want him to practice that. And then that's just my belief, right? So I've failed in that. I've not been able to do that rightfully. So there are a lot of things, but I haven't failed. I'm still working on it. Keep doing it, plugging it. I think many people give up. And because they've got circumstances, they've got challenges in life. They've got material reasons. They've got other things to take care of. Not everybody's born on a silver platter like I am. I always get it. I just get it 3 days before I need it. I manifest it. And I say, Inna bin amale bin niyat. Inna bin amale bin niyat. The outcome of everything you do in life is based on the intent. If today's intent was, I'll get on Henry's podcast and I'll get all this marketing, and then who cares about Henry? Then you know what? This will fail somewhere. When I YouTube it, it won't work. Or you said, I'll get Zain on here, I'll get all this fame, and then who cares about Zain? It won't work for you. So, but the intent is good, it'll come out good. Trust me, your intention is the critical key of every element of success.
So
intention
good.
Should be good.
So good. So good. So good. Do you have any systems or axioms for decision making, learning, and execution?
What does axiom mean, first of all?
It's a good question. It's a good question. Basically, what we're thinking is what it is what values do you base on your decision making?
Okay. So the value's got to be, it's got to be good for the other party.
Okay.
It has to be good for the other party first, and then good for me too.
Got it.
And I don't believe in the win-win. It's got to be win, me no lose formula. As long as you win, I'm okay if I don't lose. And I really am. And my son just 2 days ago said, "Hey, Dad, that's investment. What did you do it for?" I said, "Look, it was somebody I was helping. She would have nobody would have helped her. But if I can help her and get her propelled, my rewards will come. As long as I don't lose. I don't lose. Right? My rewards will come." So I think the one critical factor you must have in you always, for example, for customers, we do business with a lot of customers. We had an account some 17 years ago, 18 years ago. Then we had it for a decade after that. We had to pay a $32,000 mistake that an insurance company made. An insurance company made a mistake, costing the insured $32,000. That account to me was worth about $7,000 a year. I went up into the room with my credit union check, and I said, "Here's $7,000. I'll split the $16,000 to you." Now, I would not have recovered for another 10 years with them.
Right.
Yeah, right. But I made the call because it wasn't their fault. It was the insurance company's fault, but I introduced the insurance company to them. I dare people will take that move all the time. I try and do it all the time. Take care of other people first, and you will win.
That's the key. You know, I think what happens is we get jaded because we get our ass kicked, we get taken advantage of. Maybe somebody goes behind our back, does something sneaky, and then we start to get this jaded, you know, we start to wear out a little bit, you know, and I think I think that's where we go backwards. I used to be like that. You know, I got screwed a few times and then I'm like, you know what? Forget it. Now it's like this. And I put up this force field, right? But to your point, I don't think that is a good move because now you start to create this duct tape. It's like you duct tape yourself where it's almost like a straitjacket when you let that affect you. Listen, that'll be if you're smart and that happens to you, that'll be the last time that happens to you from that person, number one, but you're just going to get a little bit smarter down the pike. And that shouldn't affect you from, like you mentioned before, giving first. And I think that's the lesson that I want people to take away. Don't do what I did when I got burnt and like turn into this like stone cold monster. Don't do that. That is a mistake that I've learned a valuable lesson from. Instead, just like Zain said before, lesson learned, and we will be that much smarter the next time.
I'll give you one story in my life. There was this gentleman that we hired. We were working for an account called City Team Ministries, church ministries all over the U.S., and we used to insure all the medical insurance all over the country. And there was, and they also helped people that were, either they were alcoholic or having some issues. One of those guys we hired from there to help him. We gave him a job position. Soon he became pretty well with us. And I've got this garbage truck coming in, so maybe I'll move somewhere else. But so we were helping him, and we helped him for a couple of years. Then we hired another guy. Together we started. All of a sudden, this other guy left us and went back and tried to infiltrate that Bay account from us. Oh. And then this guy went and became a CEO of that City Team Ministries at one time. And then he worked with that guy and took the account away from us. Now, this is the guy that I helped, right? No problem. Here's the story gets exciting and fun. 6 months later, he calls me up. He says, I'm in a shelter. I need help. So I sent him $100 check. This story goes back 12 years. I, to date, help him with $50 or $100 every once in a while, almost monthly. Now you will come back and say, Zain, he screwed the shit out of you. You gave him a job. He came back. He hit you. No, you don't know his circumstances. You don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. I'm in no position to judge that. I get enough of it. Now, there's a guy upstairs, and he goes like this. He said, oh, shit, man. This $100 was meant for Zain, but he gave it away. Let me take care of Zain. Because I am all nothing. I'll give it to Zain. I'll replace it. Whatever form you believe in, you call him Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, whatever you call him, there is something out there, even if it's just mental telepathy. There's something out there that manages the accounting and bookkeeping better than the Internal Revenue Service.
Oh, hands down. I've been on coaching calls where I get deep with somebody and I get off that call and I'm mentally exhausted and I go check my email and there's Stripe notifications in there. Like people paying for consults.
I'll give you that.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Goosebumps, right?
I have a friend, and it's a long story. I can't get into that. One day walks into my office with a patch in his eye and tells me I need $2,300. Otherwise, my home will be foreclosed. This is a guy that literally gave me my green card, helped me on my green card when he did. Walks into my office. I cut him a check of $2,380 or something. I swear to God, 3 days later, I get a check from Prudential Life Insurance. saying we made an error on your last year's commission. Guess what the amount was?
Don't tell me.
2,400. It's not possible, but it happens. It happens to me every day. It happens to me. I never worry about somebody taking and stealing me. I never worry. You want to cheat me? Cheat me. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. I'm not saying you should allow anybody to cheat you. Please don't get me wrong, because not everybody is like me, right? So you should not. You should always watch over, do your accounting, do your books, I'm bad at accounting. I wish someday I'm better at managing my books. I would be a lot bigger, and I'd be able to do a lot more good in the world if I kept my books right. I just don't pay attention to money at all. I just don't look at the cup. I look at the finish line. But don't get me. But me, it works. I don't care. Somebody steals it, I get much more somewhere else.
That is so good. Look, Zain, we have a special guest live with us today. It's Stephanie Bishop from our club.
Oh my God, Stephanie.
Yeah,
I love her.
She says, "Hello, beautiful."
I've got to shut up now. When she talks, I got to shut up.
She said, "Zain, you look fly."
I'm going to fly from this balcony here. I love you, Stephanie.
Love Stephanie. Love Stephanie. She is such an awesome human being, and so happy that we met through, again, Clubhouse. It's just It's amazing how that's connecting everybody. So another question for you is, what's harder today than it was yesterday?
So I was giving a class to NYU in January last year, a graduating class in NYU, and I said this. I said, it's a lot difficult for you today than it was yesterday. Because yesterday, when I came out of O-levels in Cambridge, I was one in so many. Now there's Tom, Dick, and Harry that's doing a master's degree from Harvard, Yale. Everybody's educated. So it's going to be a lot tougher for this millenniums. So you must know that you must put in full work hours. Don't be relaxed work hours. You're not only education is not going to be important. You're going to have street smarts as well. So go out and do it. Don't work for McDonald's or something. If you're smart, go do something on your own. Try and do something. Create some new stuff. Look at problems and issues and do it. And your mind must be alert and working all the time. Your integrity level and honesty level has got to be much more higher latitude. You know why, Henry? Because I could have robbed a bank and got away without all my neighbors knowing about it 40 years ago. Now, if you rob a bank, I think within a couple of milliseconds, half the world will be aware of it.
Yeah.
Plus your camera, especially if you're bald like you'll be known everywhere. I could still get away with my sunglasses and my camouflage, right? But really, the truth is, the world is much quicker at responding to news, right? So you have to work harder, be more ethical, more transparent, and more honest about everything you do in life. I think you need honesty a lot more today than you ever needed before.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Strong brands get built off of honesty, transparency, and authenticity. Those three. Authenticity gets a bad name. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want to say the A word. I don't want to say the A word. It's so overplayed. I don't know why people have I don't know why they have such an issue with this name. This word is what drives business and what makes you stand out from everybody else. It's a quick little branding lesson here, but man, I wish more people were authentic. The world would be a different place. It would. Here's another fun question for you. Where do you go when you need, and this is going to be funny. Where do you go when you need to blow off steam?
I go to the shower. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Renedo, 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 choro, renedo. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. And then I do turn to myself. And, there are times when I just get, everybody, I'm as human, or probably more human than most people would consider me to be. I'm not a fake. I have times I just, turn to myself, to my music. I put on my headsets, to my music or I work.
Mm.
And I'll start working on emails and different things that take my mind off. I do have a wonderful daughter that always confides in me and keeps me in line when I'm offline. I've got a son who never even my elder son never even gives me 1 second of an error or mistake I make, and he won't put me back on track. I've got my youngest son who teaches me give and how to creatively do and stuff. And then I got my wife who has always been there for me, always. And I haven't treated my wife in the manner that I would have treated my wife. I should have. I haven't given her the attention and the time and the love that she gives me. I can't repay it. And I wish I could. She gives me a lot more than I give her back, because I'm a workaholic. I'm cats in the cradle and the silver spoon guy, and I didn't give my kids that time. And that's one of my regrets in my life, that I didn't give my time to my kids and my wife that I should have. And that's a regret.
You said that on Clubhouse the other day, and that made such a big impact on my life, because like you, I do tend to work a lot, and I'm still a work in progress. And, now I just turn it off and I go and I'm present. It's not, you could play in my office while I'm on Clubhouse, or you could play while I'm on Instagram. It's the phone goes upstairs and I am all in on you. And that has been a game changer for me. It's been the juice. It's been the fuel. It's been that recharge, right? And it has been such a different, because I don't want that regret. And I've seen that. I have an uncle who's extremely successful. And I remember having a conversation with him, and I forget what question I asked him, but I remember when he said, I wasn't able to go to the baseball games and the soccer games. And you know what I told him? Just take a picture and I'll see it later. And wow. I remember that didn't sit well with me. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And if that's the cost for being successful, well, then maybe I have to redefine what success means to me. And I chose to not sacrifice that. And I think I'll appreciate it more when I'm older. I will say that. It feels like such a struggle right now, but I will appreciate it when I'm older, I'm sure. We have another live guest. Hello, Zain and Henry. So good to see you both. Analog Millennial.
Analog, how are you?
Yeah, you got to put in the comments who that is. What's your real name? We want to make sure we shout you out. So I got a couple more questions. I got to be careful of time because I go pick up my little guy, but I'm pretty sure we can get through all of these. All right, so let's get to some fun stuff. What is something you're afraid to try?
Anything that's that would be morally and ethically and consciously completely wrong. I'd never want to try that.
I'm with you on that one.
But what's one thing that I would want to try? I know I was bungee jumping once. I was trying to do it in Canada, and this guy said he has no insurance or anything on it, and I chickened out. And I told my wife, when I went up right to the end, and I said, "Oh shit, I'm not going to do it." And I'm one of those who takes a plunge anyway. Nothing much. I mean, I think I've always tried anything I wanted to try and just do it. I just do it.
Yeah.
I'm a do it guy. I don't fear anything.
Yeah.
If it's morally, ethically right, and it doesn't hurt anybody in humanity, I'll try it.
Gotcha. I'm with you on that one. So Analog Millennial is Mary from Clubhouse.
Oh, that's Mary. Hey, Mary.
Hello, Mary.
I love Mary.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Mary's words of wisdom. Oh my God, every morning. It's just amazing.
And then those cards she pulls.
The
cards get me every time. And it's like the card was pulled for. I always feel like the card was pulled for me. It's crazy. Stephanie says, Zane, I want to be you when I grow up.
Well, let me grow up first, Steph. I'm still a teenager.
Oh, I love it. Okay, next question, Zane. This is like rapid fire. I've never done an episode like this where we went like 40 minutes and just blasted the guest with questions.
I love it. I'm enjoying it. This is a high point in my life.
So what temptation can you not resist?
I think my kids are on this blog, so I can't say all that here. No, the temptation of making an affiliate. Now, there's a background story to it. My kids, no matter where I met or who I met, I would somehow make some connection and some deal in opening up one company with that. I wish I could have stopped doing that. So, like, I'll talk to you, and next thing I'll be talking about, let's talk about a branding company that goes viral and we become the largest company. And you and I will do business together. And the other temptation that I think, which I don't regret, anybody comes knocking on my door for a job, I'll try and fit him somewhere in my system, even if I don't need that job. But I don't regret that. But the temptation of opening up companies, all the time, I'm always opening up companies, all the time. There doesn't go a week by I'm not doing some new company with somebody, some deal, And none of them are like household names, right? They're just hanging around. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. That's my biggest addiction, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what progresses you, that pushes you, yeah, totally. Okay, what's the last thing that you've been really proud of? What's the last thing you've done that you were really proud of?
I think with all my effort and all the challenges that I've been faced with in life and the circumstances, I'm so proud that I'm at age 65 and I can provide to my family. I'm proud that I've always been, I've always told my kids, my love for you is unconditional. And I mean it by unconditional. I'll always love you no matter what. And I do. And I'm proud that I've been always there in their most difficult times. And I've been with my wife and my kids no matter what times may get tough. In any, whether it be relationship-wise or monetary-wise or emotionally, I've never let my family down. And I'm proud of that. I've seen lots of fathers, lots of parents that sway away and take the easy route out. In the most difficult times, I've been like a wall with my family and said, no, I'm going to be with you. Right or wrong, I'm with you through this. And I've done that to my extended family as well. Always to being there, always, and always will continue to do that. And the other thing I'm proud with in all my partnerships that I do, all my deals I would do, I never try and cheat and I never try to take advantage of the other partner. And many times they do because I'm so vulnerable and easy to go, but it doesn't bother me. I will always stick to my deal. And I learned that from my father. There was something being done and there was some repairman coming in to do some stuff at home. And when I came in from school, I was 14, 15 years old. I'm smarter than anybody in the world. What does my father know, right? So my father's paying this guy. And I said, hey, Dad, this guy didn't finish the work. He said, shh. And he paid him. After dinner time, he says, come here, I want to teach you a lesson. He said, he finished his work or not was his part of the contract. My part was to pay him. He didn't do his deal. I'll still keep my part. And then I'll now learn that the next time somebody comes in to do this stuff, I'll make double sure because I paid a price for it, which even Howard University doesn't teach me. So I always pay my bills and keep my end of the commitment of somebody's deal. The other guy may try to cheat me, but I will not cheat him. That's the principle I live on. And I've learned over time, I don't know why it is, the other guy ends up losing. I see the guy suffering later on, even though I don't pray for that. So you mess with me, you mess with some other phenomenal stuff out here. Just kidding.
Whoa.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah. I just think back to a lot of that in my life and I say to myself, man, there were times that happened and you look back and you're like, well, I hate to use the word, I hate to use this phrase, but karma is a you know what.
It's
Right?
a universal phenomenon. It is there.
It is.
Karma is there.
So be careful with that, guys. Be careful with that, because what you put out is what you get back. I'm a firm believer in that. What you put out is what you get back, and good and bad. Good and bad. I got two more questions for you, and then we're gonna wrap up. So, what is your least favorite personality trait? Wait, what is your least favorite personality trait you like about yourself?
I think I'm not scared about public opinion. It's a bad thing, right? So I can go in a party like dressed like this. I'll go in a bow tie while everybody's in a jeans. I don't give a damn shit what people think about me. And there's a song by Paul Anka that I love. Paul Anka wrote it. Frank Sinatra originally sang it, "My Way."
Oh, I love it.
And that's not always good, because I can't walk in a room and just be myself, right? I've got to follow the conformity of the room.
Sure.
And I think that's a trait that I should, and I talk too much, but I don't mind. I love it. I talk too much. I don't let the other, you're the one who's doing the show, and yet I'll say more than you. And that's
It's
okay.
your show, though. It's your show.
No, but in any way, I'll be in somebody else's party. I'll give it a blah, 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 blah. And I'm the one who's talking about that. I'm not embarrassed about that. So I think it's a trait that I wish, because God did give you 2 ears and 1 mouth. But somehow, maybe because I've got these Bose speakers in me, I don't have 2 ears. But I don't. That's a trait that I should work on, I think. But I don't mind.
Zain, very much like yourself, that is something that I'm very conscious of when I come in, because I love to talk. I love to make people laugh. I love, and I guess as I get older, I'm starting to become more of a listener, which I think is helping me tremendously with life. We'll leave it at that. But yes, like you, I mean, I'm a talker. I mean, that's why we have 400 episodes of this, 400 plus episodes of this show, right? Oh man. So it's so funny. So I left this question for last. However, it was the first question that I pulled, and I said, I have to leave this for last, because it's just going to wrap everything up so beautifully. So the last question is, what do you think will be your legacy?
Fortunately, my grandfather, from my father's side, and then my grandfather from my mother's side, both were legends in what they did. I'd like my legacy to be known as somebody who started all these things. I've done a lot of organizations. So what I do is I ignite and let the flame go, and I don't want the credit for it. I've opened up an organization, chapters in Pakistan, in different places. I've done lots of things. I started and let it go. I want to be known like people, the best way you can judge yourself is you imagine or envision yourself, whether you're being cremated or put in the ground 6 foot under, and people around you are talking. Are they saying, what an asshole, man? What saying? So my legacy, what I wanted to be is, I've done something in life, in the world, that has helped others excel in what they do. Mm. So if I made you a better person, if I've gone in, all the people that work for me, I've got some just amazing people that work for me. Just the most magnificent. They give their time, their love, their money, everything to me for nothing at all. Everything when I have grapes on my table, I say, thank you for my customers, but thank you for my employees that work for me. I wish that I have given them a step about to make them a better human, a better person, a better human being. And if people remember, yeah, this guy, whatever he touched, he just helped people.
And where do you think that came from originally? That drive to do that.
I think both my grandfather, from my father's side, I never had the pleasure of meeting him. He passed away before I was born. But the stories of my father, and then my father was known everywhere we'd go. He'd say, "Oh, if Mr. Akbar was his name, he said, Akbar Jeewanjee says it, it'll be done." He's a man of his word. So I grew up with that pressure of living that legacy. Is that Akbar Jeewanjee says it, it's done. And then my mother was hospitality king. My friends, even today, I talk to my grammar school friends, and you know what they tell me? Oh, we would just come to your house because we know they will get that falsa juice. Falsa juice is a special fruit that has to do a lot of work to take the juice out. But my mother, so I got the social skills, and I got this giving skills from my mother. I got dressing from my father, who used to dress like wow. Wow, you wouldn't see him without a pocket square. This is 1930s and 1940s in Pakistan, which you wouldn't think is very big in dressing. But I learned dressing, I learned etiquettes and manners and stuff with them. So I think that legacy of giving came from my grandfathers, both sides. My father, who in his words, he suffered from emphysema, didn't literally move for the last 10 years of his life because he was almost on oxygen. But his character, his honesty, his discipline was there. And he always said, help anyone you want to help. So I think I got it from, and my mother, who gave herself to our family, to us, to her husband, with all the little things that we had. So I think that's where it comes from.
Wow, that is beautiful. Mary says, Zain's legacy is his love and his heart. He is kindness personified.
Mary, I've known you maybe 7 weeks now. Every time in the morning, the 4 o'clock in the morning I get up is not because of just the Abundance Group, but to listen to you, Stephanie, Nick, and Ollie, Joe. Joe, every time he says his poems, I mean, they're mind-boggling. I request everybody that's on here to join that 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 a.m., 7:10 a.m. East Coast time, the Abundance Group on Clubhouse. It just and stay there for an hour. It's almost a doing. I usually take a break and say my morning prayers, which I'm going to do at sunrise. But thank you.
And last but not least, Stephanie says, definitely a vessel of kindness and love for us all. So Stephanie and Mary, thanks for joining us live today. And Zain, what a beautiful, we're recording this on a Friday afternoon and here in Jersey. And what a beautiful way to finish out my week and to start my weekend is to sit down with such a beautiful soul like Zain and to get this experience and to get this wisdom. And I have to re-listen to this because you said so much in 52 minutes. This one went long. That I need to download it. I need to re-listen to it. And I encourage everybody to rewatch this and re-listen to this as well, because there was so many gems dropped here that will guide you in the right direction. So Zain, where can people connect with you online? Where can we send everybody to come check you out?
There's nothing nowhere. I don't have a story somewhere and I'll do something when I hire Henry to do my branding. But in the meantime, the best place to reach out to me is personally on the phone. And the way to get me is my calendar is open. So I'm very fair. Everybody can get it. It's meetzain.com, meetzain.com. And that is actually my real calendar. So it's open to everybody. So often people call up and say, but I don't see anything for 2 weeks. I'll say that's because it's booked up for 2 weeks. But if you look at different categories and different time slots, you will. The best one, easiest, is the Clubhouse link or the 5-minute chat. The 5-minute chat, you'll always find something in the next day or two. It's not that I don't have 5 minutes in a day, right? So you'll get that 5-minute chat or the Clubhouse one I've kept most open. And I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, California time. I do spend 4 to 6 with meditation and prayers and stuff, and after that, 6 o'clock onwards, I'm usually on.
You're ready to go, and definitely link up with him on LinkedIn. You got to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
LinkedIn. That's where I got your bio from and stuff. So definitely check him out on LinkedIn. He's got a lot of great stuff there as well. So Zain, thank you so much for taking the time and spending it with us today. It was such a beautiful conversation. And Mary said she's going to be putting putting herself on your calendar. So get ready for Mary.
Mary doesn't need to do that. Mary knows that. But thank you, Henry. And really, honestly, thank you, because this made my day too. Telling a story is always refreshing to yourself, because you look back and look at your life and see where I can do and what changes do I do, how do I modify to improve on it. And unless you speak it out publicly, because then you're accountable, right? So Thank you, Henry. Thank you for this time. Really, I'm sure I enjoyed it just as much as you did. And I hope the audience did.
I'm sure they did. My wife's yelling at me, you got to go get your son now. So let me get
go do that. Go do that.
Let me get
Thank you, Henry.
Guys. Have an amazing day, everyone. And we will catch you on the next episode real soon. Take care.
Thank you.